Good evening and welcome to Being Black and Craft, where we don't apologize for recognizing our influence on craft beer. This is Angie, the undeniable vixen, your host. And we have a great guest tonight, but let's go ahead and start with a little bit of beer news. So, I am trying to get on Instagram live. So if you are trying to watch, I'm having it's doing a little bit of something funky over there. But moving forward, I had the opportunity, I guess a little cidery, winery person told me that some really great people are going to be going to the Barcelona Beer Festival. So this year, BBF Barrel and Flow Festival becomes the epicenter of beer and cultural revolution from Pittsburgh to Barcelona. So, of course, named the best beer festival in the U.S. By USA Today, arrives with a clear mission blending craft beer, art, music, and social commitment. So, supporting Black creators, artists, and businesses, promoting equity and economic empowerment, featuring exclusive collaboration brews, a marketplace for showcasing emerging talent, and a lineup of live music and musicians and artists. So Mega, Rhythm, Two Locals, Dope, Cajun Fire, and of course Day, who is going to be, I'm guess, kind of orchestrating all this together, is sending a team over to Barcelona. So this is a great opportunity. I think it's really great. Day finds himself in the most precarious places, and it always gets good things happening. So I never would have thought something like this would happen, and I think this is a great opportunity, and hopefully it's an ongoing opportunity for more people of color that are in the brewing community to kind of fuse and showcase their wares to the world, because we are worldwide. We need to be worldwide. So I think this is great. So congratulations to them. So we just on Saturday we just had International Women's Day, and I wanted to highlight Montclair Brewery. And there's Denise right there at the very top looking at some things there. Um, Today, we celebrate the incredible women who helped shape Montclair Brewery and beyond. As a woman co-owned business, we are proud to uplift and empower women in all roles, whether behind the bar, in operations, or out in the community. Take a look back at past Women Brew Days, where our amazing female staff and friends came together to create something special. We're also raising a glass to the Maya Double IPA, originally brewed for Women's History Month to honor the legendary Maya Angelou. And later this month, Fragile as Like a Bomb Lavender Ale, that sounds delicious, for our tribute to Ruth Bader Ginsburg will make its return. So here's to breaking barriers, supporting each other, and continue to make an impact. Then, friend of the show, we have Liquid Intrusions, or Lipco. So Neon Love Affair has arrived, and they were doing this really 80s vibe. If you see their Instagram, so this is a collaboration between Mully's Brewing Company and Liquid Intrusion Brewing Company. This 5.3 porter is infused with cocoa nips, vanilla, and strawberries, and a smooth, decadent throwback to bold flavors of the 80s. So with a taste of this electric, this has a Midas touch. Grab a pour and step into the neon glow. So I guess I'm going to have to, if you're in the Maryland DMV area, you can grab that with that collaboration. I'm going to have to see if I can get some beer mail so I can see what that is. Then this is just a throwback picture from last year's Crafted for Action, Craft Community and Culture. And Jen Price will be on the show sometime this month, I think next week, actually. And so wanted to make sure that you know that Crafted for Action, the registration is open and the early bird pricing ends March 31st. So if you decide that you want to go to Atlanta, hang out with the folks in Atlanta, or go online and view some of the sessions that are coming up. Journal prices are $90, and the VIP access, and that would be a great grab for you if you are in person, because there's so many different things that they have going on, especially the beer dinner. Oh, the beer dinner is awesome. It's always educational. It's gives you great roots about the Atlanta area, and they Al Sharpton does a wonderful job with pairing beers with that culture, and the food is always top notch. So check that out if you're going to be going, and that's from June the 18th through the 22nd. It's a great Juneteenth celebration in the Atlanta area if you're close by, or if you're wanting to take a trip down there. Oops. And then, if you know this sign, if you know, it's almost like the bat signal for us in Dallas, Texas. When we see this logo, we're expecting something amazing, something that we have never tried, something that is going to have a great story behind it. And this gentleman right here, Barrett, who is Black Man Brew. He is doing a collaboration, and he gave us a teaser. If you're watching him or following him on Instagram, where he is doing a collaboration with Oak Cliff Brewing. And so I'm really excited to see that. I don't know what the beer is. He hasn't teased what the beer is that he's done the collaboration with, but him and Connor are making great strides. So if you are in the DFW area in Texas, or can get someone to be nice to you, you might want to grab some of that. And I will follow back up when it's ready. So where is Wondery? So we are doing all fermentations, and Wondery is a Black-owned spirit. They do wines, and so they are really kind of making their mark in across the United States. But one thing that they're doing right now, let's see. Oh, here it is. So they're going to be doing canned martinis. So if you already know the vibe, the new Wondery canned martinis are here to raise the bar, bold, juicy, and ready for whenever the season takes you. So who's going to crack open one first? That is Wondery. So that's really cool. I'm still trying to get them on the show. I've been trying to get them on the show for a minute here. So make sure that you check them out, especially if they're in your area. Check them out. And then, just to kind of, I guess, toot my little horn here, we also, as I said, I just came back from Houston. We had our Pink Boots Board of Directors Leadership Retreat. I am the communications director for Pink Boots Society. And I'm here with a lovely group of folks that we had a really great talk with Dr. Ronnie, who was over the United Way, that basically talked to us about nonprofit work and being on a board, and how impactful it is, and how this business is run, and how to be a little bit more wise with our money, and wise with communicating and dividing and conquering the work the best way possible, to make sure that the organization stays in focus and moving straight ahead. So had a great time, and we're still moving on with Pink Boots. If you haven't joined, please join. It is for our women and non-binary members, so check them out. And that is it for all of my news. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring on my guest. Good evening, Bill. How are you?
Oh, how you doing, Angie?
Good, awesome. So let's see, where will we start? Tell me a little bit about when you first came into beer, as far as your first drink, do you remember the first time you had a nice good swig of whatever?
I don't remember the first time, but I remember around the times when I started to do a deep dive
Hmm.
because so I got to college in 79, 79, 80, that era. American beer was not the greatest. I mean, I'm sorry, it just wasn't the greatest during that time. But there was this store in Rochester, New York, that had all of this imported beer, and they had the one of the lines that they had is the Merchant de Vin beer selection, and it was all the Belgian Trappist and the English brown ales, and I just fell in love. I said,
Hmm.
I found it. This is delicious stuff. So that was kind of my gateway to the rest of beer.
Okay. And that just really kind of got you into it as far as like you went really like got the creme de la creme kind of, didn't you?
Yeah, I was very lucky. I think I was very
You're
lucky.
lucky,
On the
yeah.
flip side of it, yeah. On the flip side of it, I grew up in Buffalo, New York, so we had we had a couple, Genesee and Genesee 12 horse and all that. And, to get really high end beer, we tended to go right across the border to Canada. And we got Molson and Labatt's. That was our really high end beer, right? So to stumble into this other universe was, it was kind of like the kids in Narnia. I went through a wardrobe and found myself over here and went, oh wow, so this this is actually what beer is supposed to be. Okay, I could do that, and
Uh-huh.
I loved it. I loved it.
So how young of a gentleman were you at that time?
Mm. Well,
I mean,
uh,
um, the it's been
it,
long enough to where you're not liable for anything.
really, so the statute of limitations has run out.
It
That's
should
good.
be
I,
over.
I was around 16 when I went, oh yeah, oh this, this is even back in the day before, my class was the last class to be grandfathered in as the drinking age was rising up to 21. We were either the
Mhm.
last or the second to last, so we were always grandfathered in. So it was, there was more of a culture early on, anyways. Um, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, I admit that. I'm sorry.
No, hey, no, I mean, I can just to make sure let you know that you're around wonderful people. I believe my first taste of beer, as far as like just period, um, seven maybe.
Mm, yeah, sure.
And but I didn't have that great a beer. It was Schlitz, so it was
Yeah,
horrible. It was a
yeah.
horrible experience. So you having a wonderful experience is really really great. So do you think that that kind of assisted you with getting into um, well making you sidestep those other beers that were out there? You knew it needs to be this floor at least for me to even try
Wh-
it.
Well, it was more along the lines of what those beers taught me was that there is a tradition in brewing that has to just do with quality.
Mhm.
You could do a lot of different kinds and styles of beer. I got into the Japanese rice beers. I got into,
Mhm.
high-end Mexican lagers. I got into all these different styles, but it was about the quality of the brew. That's what I think the Trappist stuff really kind of taught me early on. Is that this was the base. The beer had to be good. It could be any style, but it just had to be good. And I think in many ways, it just opened up my mind opened up my palate to all these different kinds of beer because
Mhm.
you could taste the quality in the beer. Once you start understanding what beer is about, it's easy to go from one style to another and go, yeah, that's a good beer. It's a different style than what I'm used to, but that's a good beer, and I should explore that. So I think
Mhm.
I was super lucky to kind of, I had that wild experience of going, woo, okay, well, now I need to explore and see what I come up with. And I've loved it. No matter where I go when it comes to alcohol or spirits, it's you know I come back to beer. I really do. I like beer.
Mhm. Okay, okay. So I guess the name of the company alludes to some musical qualities. So tell me a little bit before you go into the brewing aspect. Tell me more about how you came about with Metronome, the name. Where did that
The
stem
name. Okay, well, I have to go back and I have to admit, see, I'm a professional musician,
from? Okay.
and I've been at this at what I do since the late '80s. I'm a conductor, pianist. I predominantly do classical music, although I have a lot of interest in jazz. No, I don't play it. I work with a lot of jazz musicians and world music and such. So yes, there is a musical allusion there. Actually, the name itself alludes to something because Metro stands for the Twin Cities metro area,
Okay.
and Nome, NOME, stands for a nurturing, outstanding music education. So we're a socially missioned company, and the plan is to grow to become the size of a small regional brewery and then take our profits and fund music education for kids because
Oh,
why not?
awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
So, but the idea came in a different way. It was a reaction to the situation I found myself in 2020 because
Hmm.
being a performing artist, suddenly at the end of March, I was completely out of work, uh, which surprised me. So
Yeah.
I ended up door dashing, and then 2 months later, well, I live in Minneapolis, and found myself in the middle of my third set of riots because I had done
Hmm.
Miami '89 and then LA '92,
Ooh, okay.
and suddenly I was in, George Floyd 2020, and I
Yeah.
I just I found myself going, why are we doing this? Why is it always we seem to be fighting the same thing over and
Hmm.
over? And one of the things that I'm most passionate about is education. And for me, being a musician, you notice that every single time there's 3 cents deficit anywhere. Oh, let's just cut the yards. Kids don't need that.
Yes.
Makes me want to reach through the internet and I'm a pacifist, but I want to start strangling people. Why are you doing this to
Hmm.
your next generation? So
Absolutely.
just one day, I was in the shower and the idea came to me. I was thinking about brewing because my buddy and we would home brew. I wanted to do
Mhm.
that, and I was thinking about my third set of riots. I got mad. I wanted to do that, and beer, music, wham, and the idea just kind of came to me. I went, yeah, this might work.
Mhm. Yeah. That's awesome. That's a wonderful thing. Being a theater kid, I really applaud you for that because I don't know being in school what I would have done if I didn't have that outlet that really assisted me with being able to be more vocal because I'm very much an introvert. I'm still an introvert pretty much, but being on the stage, being someone else, I'll do that. I'll do that
Sure,
in a minute. And so,
sure.
yeah, because I never would have thought I'd be doing this at all.
Uh,
So that's really, really amazing. And I I applaud. you for doing that, for having that epiphany.
Well,
So that's
thank you. I mean, this is what the arts do, right? They train you to do things that you may not have expected of yourself,
mm-hmm,
and they train you to make these connections between people and ideas and such. And that's exactly, in my mind, I think that's exactly what we would want people to be able to do on a daily basis. And you can't do that unless you've learned that as a child.
right,
And I think
absolutely.
music is one of the best ways of learning how to do that. Making
Mm-hmm,
music with other people, listening to music, understanding music, being around music. It's it's the cornerstone of my career. It's certainly what I think we try and do as professional musicians, and I think it's what we should do as human beings more as well. So I want to give these kids the opportunity to study music and learn that part of life. I don't think the fact that they may not have enough money to do that should get in their way.
mm-hmm.
Simple as that.
Now, when you were growing up, because you are a conductor, so I know that you did a lot of practice for hours. Were you the kind of kid that was like, oh yeah, I get to go practice, or was it a chore for you?
Well, yeah, yes would be the answer. It's a little bit of both, but I mean, you're looking at privilege. You're looking at a kid who grew up. His parents taught on the university level. My dad was a philosopher, and my mom's a sociologist. I was an only child, so I mean, they had to funnel all their hopes and dreams into me. Thank you, therapy.
Hmm. Hey,
But hey,
yes, only child here. I get you. I get you.
oh god, you've been there. You know what I'm talking about. But I was it was also the benefit of, yeah, I could do all these things because I could do all these things. And my parents bought a piano when I was 5. I think it was 5. Yeah, at a garage sale, and evidently I just took to it like fish to water. So they were
Um,
okay. Here, do this. Okay, and that's what I did,
okay,
and here I
okay.
am.
So let's transition. I'm trying to see how. Tell me a time during the time that you're brewing that you feel like you are in the conductor's mindset.
Oh yeah. I mean, okay, here's the thing. I own the brewery, so I never get a chance to brew because there's all this other crap I got to take care of, right? But I can think back to the times where my buddy and I would sit out on my back, uh, patio and brew, or the few times that I've helped the brewmaster out in the big rig, the
Mhm.
10 barrel system. The thing that strikes me the most about it is, first of all, there's the planning. There is an architecture to a brew day.
Mhm.
When certain things are going to happen. This has got to be, and there's a flow to it, and that's a very musical thing. When you're in the middle of a really good brew and everything is just happening, it just it feels natural, and you're hitting your numbers, and there's nothing, there's no panic. It just feels like a very organic thing. That's a very similar feeling to being on stage, especially as a conductor, in front of an orchestra, and you're doing a Beethoven symphony or something, and it's just the band is just rocking that night, and you just feel like you can do anything, and you're making music. It's a very exciting thing, to be a part of. The other thing is, the bloody thing about brewing is that you got to deal with living things. There's that bloody yeast component, man, and you're never really sure what Mr. and Mrs. Yeast are gonna do, right? From one
Mhm.
day to another. When you're making music in that situation that I've talked about, when the orchestra is going, I mean, sometimes you just have to go on faith. You just have to go, I have no idea what's going to happen, and I'm going to go blah
Mhm.
and see what happens. Uh, and I love that. I love that. There's, as a conductor, you have this sense of understanding of a big piece of music that you're trying to portray to an orchestra. This can go on for 50 minutes, 60 minutes, an hour and a half. But that human element, suddenly the oboe player does something that you weren't expecting, and you got to go. You
Uh-huh.
just you got to fit that in on the fly to what's happening musically, and it has to make sense. It's the same thing as, geez, we just hit those numbers over there. We only have 7 barrels as opposed to 9 barrels. We better not be putting in any water here or doing this and that and the other. You just have to improvise it a little bit. I
Mhm.
love that. I love that.
That beautiful kind of chaos that that only no one else on the outside may not be able to see it, but they're going to be able to benefit
Right.
from
The
it.
energy, the
Yeah.
energy of it is there, but on the outside, you're like, oh yeah, I meant to do that. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought about that 3 weeks ago. Are you kidding me? Oh, come on. Oh yeah.
So you have a brick and mortar location, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So in that brick and mortar, do you have live music there?
Oh yes. All the time. All the time.
Okay.
Because we are so music centric. I really feel that it's important for us to present the art form that we're trying to encourage, right?
Mhm.
So we have classical, jazz, rock, punk, funk, world, whatever. I'm the booking guy. I'm the one who's in charge of that calendar, and I will literally put anybody into my facility. We have a 50-seat room downstairs that we call Fingal's Cave. It's named after a famous cave in Scotland that has great acoustics, natural acoustics.
Hmm.
And so we named it Fingal's Cave. And the mascot of Metronome is our gnome. Get it?
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Oh, we're good. And and his name is Fingal. So Fingal's
Oh.
Cave is 50, or and we sell tickets down there, or sometimes it's a free show. Sometimes people play upstairs in the tap room. And one of the best things about what it is that we've done is that there have been a lot of musicians, my fellow colleagues, who have supported us so incredibly well. They play at Metronome, either ticketed shows or sometimes free shows. They just give their talent to attract
Mhm.
people to Metronome and to try and spread what it is that we're trying to do here. And for me, I mean, I that's one of the things that touches me the most, because I mean, I'm a gigging musician. My wife's a gigging musician. All the people I know are gigging musicians. We have bills to pay.
Mhm.
We're not out here made of gold here. We have bills to pay. And the fact that some of these people will show up and just present their
Yeah.
talent in the name of the mission that Metronome has
Mhm.
is a very dear thing to
Beautiful.
my heart. And
Mhm.
they're incredible as far as I'm concerned. I thank them all for it.
Yeah, because absolutely, because that could be a night that they could be doing something paid and they're coming over and giving their time. So absolutely, that's really
Absolutely.
commendable. Yeah.
Yep.
So is there tell me a little bit if you can think as far as your tap list, what name three that you feel are at the peak, like if I came in, what three would you automatically say you got to try this?
What do you like?
So
So
uh
talk to me about what
I
you want to
I
drink tonight.
am a hef girl. I like having a hef, something nice. If I enjoy your hef, then
Hefeweizen you talking
mhm,
about here?
yeah.
Ooh.
So that's my standard. When I
Right.
that's how I judge you when I go
Okay.
to a brewery. And then
Okay.
if I like that, then I might go ahead and have a lager.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Right.
and something a little bit on the heavy side to kind of just cool me off.
Mhm.
Just kind of ease me into the rest of the evening because I'm gonna sip and take my time with it
Mhm.
after I
Mhm.
after I did my beer judging, looking, holding the glass and doing all this great stuff.
Sure. Okay. Well, if you came in asking me like that, and right now I'm just thinking about what we have on tap because we do like to rotate through things. We don't
Okay.
just like, yeah. But I would start you off with one of two beers that we have on.
Mm,
Either our Märzen,
okay.
right? Or if you wanted something maybe a little bit lighter, a little bit brighter, our um our brewmaster has come up with a terrific alt beer.
Ooh,
Ooh, see, she went.
yes, because you don't get that all
Yes.
the time. You don't
No,
get that all
no, you
everywhere.
don't. No, you don't. So he's come up with a lovely alt beer, which, mm, yes, full disclosure, I've been testing it. Yes, I have been testing it regularly over the past 4 or 5 weeks to
Uh-huh.
ensure its freshness and quality, mind, because
Absolutely.
I own the brewery. I have to
That
taking
is
one for
that
the
is your
team.
task. Yes, yes. Yes.
Exactly. So that, yeah, with this reaction, I would definitely start you with the alt beer. Now, hmm, now things get a little bit interesting. Do you do sours? By
I
chance?
do. It's been kind of like on the edge. That was my gateway beer, but not anymore.
Okay. Okay, I don't do sours, but we have a very specific to the region
Hmm.
sour because that's for another topic. This wasn't going to be in these top three. Okay, so alt beer. Oh, you know what? I'm going to back up. I think the alt beer would be the second beer I would offer you
Okay.
because I think the first beer that I would offer you would be our Kolsch, the can Kolsch, and we call it
Hmm.
the can Kolsch because, of course, it was made in the city that made the the dance famous,
Uh-huh.
which everyone thinks is Paris, and it's not Paris. It's Cologne. So we named our Kolsch the Can. 4.8%. It's brewed in the traditional manner. I think it's delightful. I think it's just an easy drinking beer. And that would be a way to just kind of ease you into things. Then I would suggest the alt beer.
Okay.
Okay. But to close, I would also give you a choice here as well because we're going to go English. And it would either be the English double brown, which is
Hmm.
called the Enigma, or are you a fan of Cole Porter?
I am. I love Cole
Well,
Porter.
we have a porter called Cole Porter. Coal. A lot of our pieces. There you go. A lot of our beers have musical puns or musical names to them. The Enigma, the English brown, is actually named for a famous piece by Edward Elgar, the famous English composer. He wrote the Enigma variations, and
Mm.
it's a lovely brown ale at about 7.3%. And anytime it's below 40 degrees, I start going over to the Enigma and just having that. But the Cole Porter,
Taste protest.
yeah, well, yes, the Cole Porter is actually not a sipping porter, a session porter at 4.8%. So
Hmm.
it's a lovely beer for winter, which we no longer seem to be in because it hit 64 degrees here in Minneapolis today.
Is
It
that
was a little strange
that's warm for y'all? Okay.
this time of year. Yeah, it's really
Okay.
warm.
Hmm. Well, that is definitely something in my wheelhouse because after a health advisor, um, I really love a good Kolsch. So
Mm.
You hit my beer love right right in the right spot. You really did. Very
Well,
good.
it's the simplicity of the beer, right, that you want to
Mhm.
test. If you can make something simple that's still good, then you can move to something else. For me as a musician, you know what I want you to play for me? I want you to play some Mozart for me. Why? Because Mozart is simple. It's easy. Mozart's the hardest thing on earth to play. It's the hardest thing on earth because it is so
Mm.
simple. And we
Mm.
have a saying as musicians, Mozart is too easy for children and too hard for adults.
Wow.
So and I'm a pianist, and we struggle. We just struggle. It's just got to be right, you know.
So would you rather do Mozart or would you rather do Wagner?
Oh, Mozart any day of the week.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm a Mozartian when it comes to that. I go back to my guys Mozart and Haydn and Beethoven and Brahms and those kind of old German classicists. I mean, these are
Mhm.
my people, can't you tell? But then I hop into the 20th century and do 21st century stuff. I worked a lot with all over the place, but with the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra, Wynton Marsalis. So
Okay.
I've done a lot of jazz influenced music and such, and I'm really into that. And I conduct music for films as well, but yeah, the opera stuff not so much. Wagner, not so
Mm.
much. Not my thing.
No, it's not your thing. Well, I found that that out of everything that I enjoy, because I would get season tickets to the opera. That was just I loved the drama, the costumes, everything. I just loved it. But
Right.
in my season packet, it was Wagner, and that was the first time I ever fell asleep.
Ah,
It
man.
was so long that they gave like a 30-minute break,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, "There's still more." I was like, I never. I was like, X
Yeah,
on
some of
Wagner.
those operas go on forever, darling. I mean, some of those operas are still going on. There's still people in that room where you were, however many long ago, are still listening to that Wagner opera. I'll tell you, man,
I,
it's just,
I mean, for
I
real,
don't know.
I agree
I
with
don't know.
you.
So where did you, what opera company did you have season tickets to? Was this
It's
in
a
Houston or
no, in Dallas, the Dallas Opera.
in Dallas? Okay,
Mhm.
Dallas Opera. Of course, I
Yes,
have friends who play for the Dallas Opera
yes, I
and such, and it's
love
an
going
excellent,
there.
excellent troupe. But thank you for supporting
Oh
music
yeah.
and opera.
Oh yes, that's one of my many loves. That and musicals. But I told you I'm a theater kid.
Oh, that's right.
It's
Yeah.
it's in my lifeblood. I love live. Being live going and seeing someone create, and it's just amazing to me. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Well,
what we're trying to provide here at MetroNome. We're trying to, provide a gateway for kids to be creative, and we have a lot of kids play at the facility.
mhm,
We have a next gen series, and for a lot of these kids, it's the first time they ever get paid to play music, and I'm very proud of that.
mhm.
I really am because I want them to understand that yeah, this is a passion of that we have and we love doing it, but it's also I value your time in doing this. And so
Yes.
yeah, I'm not going to pay you what I'm going to pay a pro, but I am going to pay you if
Yeah.
you come to my facility and you share your talent. So that's a kind of a basic philosophy that I have as a professional musician.
So, with you collaborating with the youth, are you connecting with local schools? Are you doing it with the college level? How are you? You're doing both.
I'm
Okay.
nodding. Any way we can, any
Okay.
way we can, whether it's the local high schools or or colleges or the smaller conservatories or just programs that have cropped up, little neighborhood music schools. I mean, right now, uh, the best way that we have to help these organizations is to host concerts, recitals, shows, make
Okay.
use of our facility for them to come and showcase what it is that they do. If they want to raise money, that's great. We want people to come down, buy our beer, and help our bottom line. But
Mhm.
the use of the space is something we can easily do because farther down the road, of course, the idea is that we will be fully profitable. We will be able to take those profits and also support those programs and those organizations. But until we get to that point where it's we have excess money, here, come on, come and play our place, come and play our facility, showcase your wares, raise awareness for your program, raise money for your program. That's fine. Bring people into our facility, buy our beer, and hopefully we create, kind of an ecosystem where people understand that we're just trying to fund music education for kids, and we can get fully profitable and really, just be able to support those programs.
Mhm. Mhm. That would be really great. I really, yeah, it's just so amazing to even hear. This is this type of structure as far as like a business model. Um, I haven't heard this. Well, social a social thing, but not music. But not music.
Not the arts. As far
Yeah.
as we know, we're the only one in the world that is
Hmm.
trying to do this. And there are a couple organizations that are, you know, set up as nonprofits
Hmm.
to kind of collectively do. But it was the idea was we need more than that. We need more flexibility than a nonprofit structure,
Sure.
you know, could could really provide for us. So that's why we decided on this model. And as I said, as far as I know, there is no other organization trying to do
Hmm.
this in the
Hmm.
world. But we're determined. We have a wonderful collection of people working for us. Our brewmaster is an award-winning brewmaster from New Hampshire who ended up here, loves our mission and wants to brew for us. Our director of sales is El Rhodes, is one of the founders of the brewing change in
Great
America.
change. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and she popped up on our radar a year and a half ago for a different job, and I looked at her resume and went, "Why are you applying for this little piddly crap brewery over here?" And just somehow we kept the conversation going, managed to hire her. She has a music background.
Oh,
Um,
I didn't know
a lot of people.
that. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah, she was a singer. Uh, a lot of the people who are our beer tenders are, either teach music or just love music and just want to support the mission for what that we're trying to do, and they seem to love beer as well. Though, I mean, funny enough, our taproom manager doesn't drink. He just loves the mission. He loves what we're
Mhm.
trying to do. We're super lucky in that we've managed to attract a lot of people who support Metronome for more than it just being a job or a second job. There is a real desire to see this company grow and fulfill its mission amongst the people who spend time working there. And it's really great. It's very heartening because, as you know, being a small business brewer, a business person in the United States of America,
Mhm.
trials and tribulations. Can we
Mhm.
talk?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
it should be easier.
Yeah. It really should. It should. Especially if people know what the cause is for. It should be like, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. No, this is a no-brainer. But for people who are not in the Minneapolis area, how how could they support if they wanted to? Do y'all
Yeah,
have a shop where we can buy things?
we we're actually in the process of moving over our point of sales to Toast, which is going to allow us to have an online, more of an online presence, so people could actually would be able to buy our merch, and we'd be able to send it, you
Okay.
know, across the U.S. But also, because we are a for-profit, and we want to be a socially missioned company, we have a nonprofit arm called the Metronome Foundation, and that is going to be kind of the funnel through which we take our eventual profits and funnel them to the greater Twin Cities metro area.
Yes.
But we have to grow that nonprofit arm, right? We have to
Mhm.
grow it as well as growing the company MetroNome Brewery. So if people want to donate to the Metronome Foundation, they can do that. And that's also helpful because one of the things that the Metronome Foundation does is, for example, it collaborates with other foundations, supports live music at Metronome, including very much one of the biggest focus of the Metronome Foundation is our next gen series. So it
Okay.
goes directly to the concept of providing space for young people to perform, a safe space. You want to
Mhm.
come in here, you want to learn how
Mhm.
to be a pro. You're playing jazz, classical, punk, funk, world, rock. I don't care. You better rehearse, better sound good, but I will provide you that space, right? And
Mhm.
the Metronome Foundation is one way that we do it because it offsets some of our costs, um, in order to be able to, to provide that next gen series. So there are ways of
Okay.
helping us even outside of the Twin Cities metro. Um, I'm also, well, I'm not even going to get into that because I would, there's so many ideas in the brain and they've got to be figured out before before they come past the lips, right?
Well,
so
you
so we don't
what
get into too much trouble.
whenever finally fuses together and comes out to be a thought, please make sure you tell us. We'll be
Oh, I
looking
will.
for it to share it because definitely want to continue to share it and be a part of beer news. Who knows? Yeah,
I'll definitely let you know. Definitely
yeah.
let you know.
Well, I had an amazing time talking to you, Bill. This is really great. I loved hearing about your mission. I love hearing about the delicious beer. It's another reason to come because Prince, for one, is one reason why I need to come to Minneapolis. I need to come and see that. But now I can go and have me a drink when I get there. So that sounds really
And
great.
listen to some great music while you're enjoying that beer
Yes,
too. Yeah.
that would be
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
You'd be welcome anytime, Angie. You know where to find me. You just let me know. I'll take you on down there.
Okay. Well, thank you again. Thank you, everyone who joined us for being Black and Craft. And being Black and Craft, we don't apologize for recognizing our influence on craft beer. This is Angie, the Undeniable Vixen. We will see y'all next week.
Bye bye.